What is going on, guys? We have the latent ability update. This uses the EP system for some of our holiday, winter, Christmas units of years past. Now, it's not all of them. We don't have anything for Tiana or Felix, I do believe his name was, the Nutcracker guy from the previous year, but we do have stuff for Christine, Kryla, and White Knight Noel. So these characters got some latent ability updates this year. They have their ability awakenings last year, so you have access to those as well. But this is really going to be about the EP system. Some of these characters got some really nice things, so let's get into it for you guys. First of all, we're going to be talking about our girl Christine, the Snow Child. And what did she get? She got two special little EP updates. She got the Snow Bear's Blessing and the Arctic Blitz. So Snow Bear's Blessing, if you take it all the way to level 2, which is going to take up the max amount of EP that you can get, so it's going to cost 3,400 for that level final ability there. It's going to give you 30% magic, a 1.0 multiplier increase on Snow Burial, a 2.0 multiplier increase on Absolute Zero, and a 2.0 multiplier increase on Cold Snap. It's also going to auto cast Snow Bear's Blessing at the start of the battle or being revived, and it's going to give you 50% true dual wield magic. So you definitely want to take this one all the way up, because if you don't take it all the way up to the max level, which is Snow Bear's Blessing 2, you're not going to get the 50% true dual wield magic, and you're not going to get Snow Bear's Blessing. And Snow Bear's Blessing is going to allow you to use multi-frost at the start of the battle for one turn, or after she's revived. So that's gonna be your quad cast there. You definitely want to have multi-frost. It's gonna help her out, use her cooldown skills, use her damage dealing skills, whatever it is that you want to be doing there. I do believe it lets you use your cooldown skills to help set up and do a bunch of damage there. The next one is going to be Arctic Blitz, and this is going to be, I'm going to touch on this, but this gives her a new skill, Chaos Wave Awaken. It's a pretty good skill. It's ice magic damage. It's base 8 times multiplier, and then gets a consecutive damage increase. It goes up all the way to an 18 times multiplier. And it's to all enemies, and it's going to be a 100% Ice and Peril associated with that. This is going to give her a new chaining frame family with Chaos Wave Awakened, where Christine's gone through some weird stuff where she initially had a one chaining frame family, and then got changed to another chain frame family, and with the rework, now she's got another chaining frame family. So she went from Chaos Wave to Absolute Zero, and now she's getting Chaos Wave Awakened, which isn't the most popular chaining frame family, because it's Kefka and CG Terra. Now it's her too. So she, as far as ability awakening updates go, she's fine. She didn't get anything super crazy, one extra turn of quad cast at the start of the battle. That's cool. Low multiplier increases, that's kind of neat. And then the magic true dual wield, that's pretty cool too. But I think the other characters have some much cooler stuff to go over. So Christine fans, those are there if you want to use them, but they're not game breaking. Now let's talk about Kryla. There's a lot of Kryla fans out there. How you underrate Kryla all the time. I never said Kryla's bad. I said she's overhyped. As in, when you put her on a pedestal that literally goes to Pluto and say, no other unit will ever come close to Kryla, you might want to tone it down a notch. So that's why I say she's overrated, because people are like, no one will ever beat her in any way, shape, or form ever. And it's well, she does do a lot of cool things. There's also a lot of cool things that she doesn't do. That's why I say she's overhyped. Not that she's bad. I think she's really good. But like I said, she lives on the planet Earth. Stop putting her on the used to be is maybe still planet Pluto. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. So we have extended lifespan here. Defense, HP, and Spirit 20% at level 1. If you take it all the way up to the final level, extended lifespan 2. Defense, HP, Spirit 30%, 5% limit burst gauge per turn, 100% high tide, and 10% all elemental resistance. If you guys use Kryla, you're gonna get this. It's gonna make her tankier. It's gonna give her a limit burst gauge crystal every turn in high tide to help feed those gauges of her limit burst to use on some of the skills that she has access to that uses her limit burst there. So it's gonna help you out there. So you might as well pick that up. And then she has Soul Surge, which is also something that you're probably gonna want to max out due to the main effects of it are only really worth it at the max level. So Soul Surge is a 4-turn cooldown available on turn 1. It's gonna give your entire party a 200% spirit buff for 4 turns. That's really strong. Can't be dispelled either. It's going to give your party a 200% high tide buff for 4 turns, and it's going to give your entire party, except for the caster, 15 straight up flat limit burst gauge crystals. Very strong. One caveat, it costs 15 limit burst gauge crystals to cast. So even though it's available on turn 1, she's not going to be able to cast it herself on turn 1. She's going to have someone give her limit burst crystals before she starts casting skills. I do want to bring it up before someone brings it up in the comment section of how she has skills that gives herself limit burst crystals. You can do it on turn 1 with just her. You can't do that because the game, when you go to dual caster stuff with witchcraft, which you can dual cast this new skill with witchcraft, if you have 0 limit burst gauge crystals, when you go to pick your skills, you can't say go and use Calamity Brew to give yourself 13, or go and use Dark Anathema to give yourself, is it Dark Anathema? No, it's not Dark Anathema. Dark Covenant to give yourself 30 Limit Burst Gauge crystals, and then take 15 of those and spread it all out. The game wants you to be able to pay for the cost of the ability as you go to select all of your skills. So same thing that happens with like CG Ignacio, where like he can't give himself a whole bunch of Limit Burst crystals and then consume them all and give out the giant party buffs, unless he has Limit Burst crystals already in his Limit Burst gauge when he goes to cast those skills. So keep that in mind. It is still a very strong skill. It still doesn't, serve the same purpose as a lot of the Nyx cooldown skills, which is like generating Limit Burst crystals out of thin air on turn 1. She needs to have Limit Burst crystals from somewhere else. If you can fit that, then great, right? You can pair it with like, I don't know, someone else that gives Limit Burst crystals, and then she can eat up those Limit Burst crystals and give Limit Burst crystals out again as well. So very strong abilities. She doesn't get anything super crazy, but she didn't really need anything. She already had her breaks, her elemental resistances. Her passive, the new one, just makes her life a little bit easier. And then Soul Surge helps her, give out some Limit Burst crystals later on in the fight. And maybe even past turn 1, start doing some cool shenanigans with her. So Kryla got some pretty cool stuff too. But the number 1 character that I think got buffed up the most is actually going to be White Knight Noel. White Knight Noel got some cool stuff. So let's get into White Knight Noel stuff. He actually got the coolest latent abilities. He actually also got, I think, like three latent abilities. That's probably why. So we got latent abilities here. We have the White Knight. What a fitting name. Goes all the way up to level 2. It goes up to level 2, and you may or may not want to max this one out. You probably will, but magic and HP plus 20%, 50% draw attacks, okay, 100% resist to stop, and upgrade your limit burst. So if you want him to tank, you definitely want this one maxed out. The 50% draw attack is insane. We just got the most broken accessory in the entire game for free from the current Leviathan event. And if you are somehow watching this video, but not currently playing FFBE, log into the game, beat Leviathan really fast, and get something better than, I don't know, any STMR in the game, because it's the only thing in the entire game that gives 50% draw attacks and is absolutely broken, so go pick it up. Next one here is the Mystic Bloodline. Increases the multipliers to Eroja, Blizzaja, Freeze, Glacial Wave, as well as Glacial Wave +1 and +2 in Tornado by 8 times. On top of that, that's the base form. Take it to all the way to the +2 version, Mystic Bloodline 2. It gives you the enable skill of Mystic Arts and auto cast Mystic Bloodline at the start of the battle or being revived, and gives you 50% more true dual wield magic. So this does a lot. It gives you a new skill in Mystic Arts. It auto casts Mystic Bloodline at the start of the battle. It gives you 50% true dual wield magic, and gives you an 8.0 multiplier to notably Glacial Wave and Glacial Wave +1 and +2. Imminent Storm is his last one here. It's a 5-turn cooldown available on turn 1. At the max level, it's going to be a 100% Ice in Wind in Peril for 4 turns to all enemies, and it's going to give you a 10 times multiplier increase to Glacial Wave, Ice Wave, Ice Blitz, and Sub-Zero. Very, 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 very cool there. It does say 10 times multiplier to Glacial Wave, but not Glacial Wave +2. A lot of people are working under the I don't want to say the guess, but like the assumption that this also buffs Glacial Wave +2 as well. If it doesn't, I would assume that they're going to change it so it does eventually. And this actually makes him do a lot of pretty good damage to a lot of enemies out there, because that's going to be a +18 total multiplier to Glacial Wave +2 there. Very strong, very powerful while this cooldown is applicable. Now, Mystic Arts is actually going to be triple cast for his skills, so it's all of his offensive skills, and then one notable other thing, it also lets you triple cast, but they're not highlighted up here, but it also lets you triple cast his cover skill, which is super amazing. You can see it right here. Where is it at? I'll Protect You. Right here is his AoE magic cover. You actually get to triple cast that while doing damage, so you can freely cover and do damage with your various damage dealing skills at the same time. It also lets you triple cast some of your cooldown skills, or not your cooldown skills, but your new Imminent Storm. Well, actually, I guess it is a cooldown skill, but you can cast Imminent Storm as well. And then Whiteout and Arrow Storm are things that are activated by Mystic Bloodline, which is also the auto cast from his new EP skill. Don't forget, it's part of Mystic Bloodline 2. He's going to auto cast Mystic Bloodline at the start of the battle or being revived, which gives you 2 more permanent skills while you have that buff active, which is always going to be there, which is going to be an absolute 0 ice damage dealing skill and a Chaos Wave Awakened wind damage dealing skill, and they both go up to a total of a 22 times multiplier, which is pretty powerful for a tank to have. So he's got a lot of cool stuff he can do. Oh, and his upgraded limit burst. I forgot he's got Silver Curtain upgraded because he's got so many things. Silver Curtain upgraded, guys, it's going to increase your defense, magic, and spirit by 150% for 4 turns to all allies. Give your entire party 40% MP to all allies at max level, and also mitigate damage taken by 50% for 4 turns to all allies, except for White Knight Noel for some reason. So he's got like the CG Charlotte Galoof Sieghart type of limit burst, except for the damage mitigation doesn't apply to himself. Maybe they didn't want him to like have something that's just like Lucas's limit burst, because Lucas's limit burst applies to himself. But White Knight Noel is already tanky enough. He's got all those. He's got steel and all the 75% physical and magic damage. Who cares? The White Knight Noel is a tank. He's a beast. So if you have a White Knight Noel laying around, you can still get his Prism from the Trust Coin shop. He's gotten his Latents, he's gotten his normal ability awakening updates. He's still a monster of a tank, especially if you go in there with the 50% draw attacks now. You can just cover, have the draw attacks build with the Moogle Charm. It's so powerful, it's so strong. He's got all the mitigations of the world. Now he has a very strong limit burst as well. And remember, it's 36, so it's a little bit more expensive than what you're used to seeing with stuff like Charlotte and Galoof. But he does have counters. He counters, and those counters are going to build limit burst crystals, and he can do damage. And on top of all of that, you might be asking, how good is him? How good is he as a mage? He actually can put up some really nice numbers because remember, during this cooldown, 10 times mod here, 8 times mod here for Glacial Wave +2 if those both apply. Glacial Wave +2 here, which is one of his old abilities, is a ice magic damage 4 times multiplier with 25% ignore spirit. So it's not the usual 50% that we're used to, but it's 25, which is a 33% damage increase. So it's gonna be an 18 plus 4, so 22. So it's gonna be right around like a 28, 29 times multiplier if all of those buffs stack together, due to it being an upgraded version of Glacial Wave here with Glacial Wave +2. So pretty powerful stuff here. You can put up numbers like, you know, like right around, I don't know, somewhere between like Soul and like X-Death and Kefka and stuff like that. And he's a tank. And the plus side is that even if you build him straight for doing magic damage as a mage, he still has like really tanky stats and tanky passives in his kit as well. So he's gonna have, you know, without even trying, like 12,000 HP, 6,700 did I say 6,000? 600, 700 spirit, 600, 700 defense without you trying to do that. He's gonna do a little bit less damage than like the super crazy meta mages, but he does a lot of damage still with all these multipliers every couple of turns due to Mystic Bloodline and then the Imminent Storm. And he's going to survive a lot of damage for you too. And he's going to have a nice damage mitigation limit burst, which most mages don't have, and he does. So he's a very unique character in that aspect as well. So one last thing, if you are planning on using him as a mage, there might be one last thing you might want to look out for, and that is if you take the White Knight 2, he's going to get 50% draw attacks. This isn't that big of a problem though, because if you have someone on your party that's actually provoking, you're going to be good to go there. So don't worry about that too much. As long as you have someone either with higher draw attacks or you have someone provoking, then he's not going to try to tank for you while being built as a mage. Obviously, you just throw him in a party of like all supports and all damage dealers, and you have this passive, and you don't have another tank on your party, which you shouldn't anyway, but I want to throw this out there for people who are playing like that. He's going to be your tank anyway. So keep that in mind, guys. But White Knight Noel is the obvious winner. He is the White Knight winner of all of these characters. Kryla got some cool stuff. Christine got some okay stuff, really not that great in my opinion. But White Knight Noel, he's standing supreme, and he's going to be in the Trust Shop still. Prism for 5K if you want your 7-star version. He's right there. He's a fantastic tank still. Hasn't really gotten any rust on his white coat, but very strong character. If you want to see more stuff like this, there's a bunch of videos on the channel, playlist stuff, a bunch of stuff coming out this weekend out there, guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. You are wonderful people. Likes greatly help anyone that's creating content on YouTube get the algorithm thinking that people actually like the channel, and so it shares it. It's crazy. It's crazy. If you like the channel and then you like the video, YouTube thinks that you liked it because